Hello, I'm Pam of HealingStars.com. This is a chart and it's set before dawn, deliberately, because what I want to show you this week is quite a glorious sight. You do have to get up before dawn, so it's still dark, but what you'll see, if you look east, all planets rise in the east, is a stellium, a group of planets. And what you'll see is Venus, and then Jupiter and Mars. Now Jupiter and Mars came to an exact conjunction on Sunday night, on the 18th of October, but they are still very close together. And what's going to happen during the course of this week is that Jupiter will move and it will join Venus. Now, this is actually quite unusual that this occurs, quite rare. The conjunction of Mars and Jupiter won't happen again until January 2018. That's quite a while to go. The conjunction of Venus, Jupiter and Mars, because they will still be very close together, the closest grouping, won't happen again until 2021. So this really is quite an unusual and rare event, and you don't often see that in astrology. Plus, you will be able to see it. Now, Venus is the brightest planet after the moon in the sky, the night sky. And Jupiter, being the biggest planet in our solar system, is also very bright. Mars, not so bright, but very significant. It is actually a red planet. And it's been in the news recently. They've discovered there is water on Mars. Wow, that's quite a discovery. Also visible will be Mercury, as shown in the presentation, the slide from earthsky.org, to which I give great thanks. You don't often see Mercury because it's always close to the sun. But the reason you'll see it is because the sun has not yet risen. Now, this actual conjunction of Jupiter and Venus, that will actually occur on the October 25th at 20:03 GMT, because in the UK our clocks will go back on the 25th. So we'll now be in our winter time, basically. Our nights get dark earlier. So I've called it Wish Upon a Star, and I mean that. All week these planets are vibrating together as one. Venus, the planet of love, the planet of relationship. What do we desire? What do we want? What makes us happy? What brings us comfort? Pleasures of life are Venus. Chocolate, one of my pleasures. I ate it only today, a chocolate souffle, gorgeous. Jupiter expands everything it touches. Jupiter is a planet very much to do with our purpose in the world. We have a personal purpose, and that's very much the sun in our birth chart. But when we give to others, when we reach out to help, to be in some way make a difference in other people's lives, that's really we're working with the Jupiter energy. Now, all of these planets, Venus, Jupiter and Mars, are all currently in the tropical zodiac. They're in Virgo. Now, Virgo is to do with the goddess, to do with healing, to do with discrimination, and it's physical, it's an earth sign. So it's about touch. Healers who use touch would have a connection to Virgo. Mercury in Libra, one other important event this week. Mercury is now moving forward, it's direct. And Mercury, if we see it, it's 8 degrees of Libra, is actually going to create a right angle to Pluto in Capricorn. That happens on Thursday. Now, Pluto is a huge planet to do with the underworld, to do with buried power. Mercury is the messenger that can go in and out of the underworld. At the moment, in Europe, there are huge talks going on, huge discussions about the overwhelming problem to do with refugees from Syria, to do with that appalling civil war. So this is things are coming to a climax with Mercury this week. The other energy, Mercury will then come into an opposition to Uranus. Now that's something that happens next Sunday, the 25th. Here's Uranus over here. Mercury's moving really fast at the moment. So Uranus is unexpected. Things completely change. So there could be a real turnabout and creative energy. Uranus is creative. It's the higher mind by next Sunday. Otherwise, event-wise, there isn't a huge amount going on this week, which is quite surprising. The only outer planet that's being affected is inner planet, Mercury with Pluto, but otherwise it's fairly quiet. Apart from eagle-eyed people will notice this conjunction of Jupiter and Mars is close, its opposition is to Chiron, the healer. And that Chiron in Pisces is very, very sensitive. So I've been saying it for a few weeks, it's to be over careful, if you like, with people, especially those who who are Pisces, the sun sign, because they pick up energy. They do. They have like a tuning fork for anything that's slightly wrong, slightly amiss, slightly out of tune. And they will feel it like a child does. They pick up an energy and they walk into a room. They know if there's bad energy. People have been arguing and they can feel that emotion. That's the bonus of Pisces, but that's also the negative. So my suggestion of this week is to really focus, Virgo, on what you want and to write it down. To keep a journal, listen to your dreams as well, very important, but also messages that you see around you. Astrology originally was all about omens. And omenology, a word that I thought I'd invented but I hadn't, is very much, when you're having any kind of conversation with someone, they're asking for some advice or help, look and see what's happening as they speak. And lo and behold, you'll start to see some very interesting things. It's a very wonderful thing to watch, to observe, and especially because we do still have Neptune, the influence of Neptune. Here it is, 7 degrees of Pisces. It is still in opposition. Venus is still in opposition to that, even though it starts to join Jupiter. I'll just rectify, just one moment. I'll just move that chart forward, just so you can see. 25th, it'll be late in the day. I'll put it to the 26th. Apply. Here you see, here's Jupiter. You see, Jupiter, Venus, Mars. There they all are together in that early morning, pre-dawn sky. The other event I haven't mentioned, which in fact I should do, is that the sun will change sign. The sun this week is going to move into Scorpio, my own sign. That occurs, that sun moves into Scorpio on Friday, 23rd, and it will be at, for those who like to know, 1846. That will be London time, which will still at that point be British summertime. But I want you this week to really feel the energy of these two great benefic planets, because that's what they are. Jupiter and Venus are great benefics, and Mars gives the energy, the focus, the warrior energy that says, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my mark in the world. And by doing that, I will bring joy, Jupiter, and love to each person that I meet along my way. Pam Carruthers, healingstars.com, and I have a free webinar this week on Thursday, so please, if you head towards my website, Healing Stars, you'll see it. It's called Healing Your Birth Story. I look forward to meeting you. Bye-bye for now.